Welcome in everybody, and welcome back to a brand new video. We have a flight today scheduled from Romania, Bucharest airport, and we're flying down, or up should I say, to Chișinău in Moldova, and we're going back in the very old but still one of my favorite aircraft, one of the Tupolev 154B-2. And this flight is estimated to be 1 hour approximately, with pretty much good weather for the most part, with some expected overcast and cold clouds, but other than that it's looking pretty clear. Welcome back to all the new viewers as well. It's so good to see so many new people watching the content and so much support in terms of the comments, so thank you very much for that. So yeah, we're back here, and I am having again, just to clear the issues before we get into this, the issue today is that we're still having some issues with the mouse. We can't see it when we are full screen, so we have to make do for now without it. So we'll just have to simply play, I was going to say a windowed screen, but if I do windowed, as you can see, it is very small for you guys. Let me just, I could change it. It's very small for me as well, so it's pretty much unplayable from that point. And from a sort of technical point of view, I don't really know what's going on, because it was working absolutely fine. And as you know, I've flown many routes before. Everything looks good on view options. Obviously full screen is going to get rid of the mouse, so we can't do that just yet. View options again, if anyone knows about flightgear, this is the game I'm on, the free flightgear simulation. It's just as good as a paid option. Getting a little bit sidetracked now, but yeah, just quickly mention it's as good as the paid options, if not better. It includes fantastic flight planning, inbuilt flight planning software, and a great selection of custom planes. Most of them are made by sort of independent creators, but also simultaneously you have better versions which are made by the devs as well. So yeah, we might have to make do with either without a mouse. We might have to just cheat and do a, I was going to say do a flight from auto start and then simply use the autopilot, but that's going to be a bit tricky, and I don't want you guys to have to watch this in this view. So as you can see, can't do that on that. So we'll go back up to menu, file, full screen. We're in the TAROM livery aircraft just there, looking quite nice. And thank you to everyone who watched my X-Plane stream on Monday. That was a new one for everyone. We went from Madrid to Barcelona. I have to say, when I watched the intro back, it was actually quite good. So it's a tutorial as well on how to start the 737-800 on X-Plane 12. If you're interested in that, please go and look at it and give me some feedback. I really appreciate it. And of course, unfortunately, we did have issues at the end there, but today we can crack on with this. So we're going to go ahead and do our sort of regular startup. I'm going to do it slightly windowed for now, and I'm going to stretch it for you on the stream, so it should be bigger than what it currently is. Alright, let's hope that that is acceptable for you. Any problems at all, let me know. Let's go ahead and get started. Bear in mind, I'm playing this on a small screen, so we're going to go and switch to the... It's kind of made it a little bit impossible to play it. We're going to go ahead and switch to the engineer's view. And I'm actually tempted to kind of just do an X-Plane stream tonight as well, so if anyone's interested in coming along to that, we can do a flight. Did an awesome flight last night from Belgrade in some really harsh thunderstorms, which was fantastic. Okay, so I'll start the generators. APU. I want to rush, kind of getting through this quick because we have a departure coming up. Switch that to APU. All the switches go on. If you've seen my other streams, you'll know the you might remember the start procedure, but you'll know I don't take my time, I just get through it as quickly as possible. Okay, so we have got power to the APU. Gotta remember how to do it myself. I'm gonna open that bleed air. Help if we press start on the APU. Just let that start up. As you can see the dial moving. Okay, that's very nice. Turn these on so we can monitor some of the issues. Well, not issues, but the temperatures and pressures of the engines. Fuel pumps over here, but we need to activate some of these switches. There we go. The lights come on. You can start from top to bottom or bottom to top. It doesn't really matter. But either way, you have to switch all the fuel pumps on. The aircraft is so big, it has all these fuel pumps. 3 massive engines on the back, and we will allow this to be turned on. Or we don't have to. We could do it and press it now, but we could also wait till after the engine start. It's absolutely fine to do it either way, and we should be ready to go. So it clicks the pusk. We don't have a green light, which means we've missed a step. We've not opened the air for the APU. There we go, ready to start. See, it's always good to do a reflection on your startup process to make sure you understand it, because in that simple step then, just simply missing opening the APU bleed air led to me not being able to start it. And I can see many people having a problem with that without realising it. So engine 1 is starting. We're going to start the burn. So in Marlem, I believe he said. Either way, it means it started. Okay, that is on, so we can build this pressure up in this dial. Okay, that's the engines running. Awesome. Now we can turn the generators on. Don't forget to turn them on. Yeah, roger that. And switch it to aircraft power, and then you can safely close the bleed air on the APU. Turn the APU off. You can either press yeah, it's finishing, or we can press stop there, or just simply switch the switches off. Right, that's it, it's on, the generator's on. We have fuel flow, we do have some lights up there. I can't remember if that's normal or not. I'm assuming. Right, I'm assuming it's. Right, there we go. I was going to say I thought it wasn't working then because there was no power on the generator, but it's coming through now. Slightly low on this one. I'm not sure if we should be worried about that or not. Probably because we're not switched some of the other systems on. So we switch this off. We don't really need the starters engaged on that. Switch back to the co-pilot. Make sure we got our lights on. Co-pilot will be doing all his checks at this point. We'll set the attitude indicator. I have got the programmed route ready, so we have it on hand, ready for departure, which should be momentarily. Okay, we need to activate these. It would help actually if you did some of this stuff first, rather than activate the nose wheel. Extend the lights to taxi. Seatbelt signs, no smoking, exit signs. Simply doing this from the captain's point of view might make it a bit more realistic. Although you can do the overhead panel like so. Start process on this takes about, I was going to say 5 to 10 minutes, but in real life it probably takes that a little bit longer, just because there's obviously differences between the aircraft and a simulation of real life aircraft. Okay, we are ready to taxi out. We don't really need to worry about clearance just yet. Let's just set our header and indicator now. Before we go, there we go, it's aligning. Now we've turned all the systems on, and we will double check the route. So navigation, route manager. Okay, it has programmed it in. There's all waypoints, and I have to say this is a lot better. Like X-Plane 12 prides itself on being the most realistic flight simulator, but flightgear free, completely free, has this built-in route manager, and which is something you would expect from a flight simulator, but X-Plane 12 doesn't have it, so that's a real disappointment. Niban, Vivin, Navod. All these waypoints were relatively short flight. Okay, we will activate that, and we can go. We don't need to worry about any radio calls just yet. I'm just trying to checking the stream, just making sure, because there's something going on with the view. I don't know what's going on with it. I think it's balls. Apologies about this. Absolute nightmare. Yeah, if you're new here, don't get used to these mistakes. Okay, let's go. We don't really need to worry about. Okay, roger that. I think he's just confirming our flaps are set. Sparrow готов. Okay, thank you, co-pilot. And we got map. Trying to navigate this without a mouse. We managed to do it. Wow, that is a that's a departure and a half. Look at that. We got a takeoff on runway 08 left, and we're sort of doing a left-hand turn, almost like an overhead join, but an overhead departure. Okay, that should be interesting. Let's get going. And thank you for joining me on this flight today. We will be doing a. If you're expecting the 777, we'll be hopping back in the 777 on Friday for a nice relaxing flight, but for the moment we'll be doing X-Plane on Wednesday, so join me for that.
Position apron 119, information Yankee, IFR to London Heathrow, request startup.
We got brakes off. I've got a feeling we got to do the chocks. Bit of a pain, isn't it?
Blue Air 1431, startup approved.
Oh my goodness.
Correct, runway 26L, fly runway heading squawk 4561, for taxi clearance call 121.70.
Gear chocks.
Toto Penny Intel ground control.
Would help.
Bucharest Toto Penny Intel ground, startup approved, Yankee correct, runway 26L, fly runway heading squawk 4561, for taxi clearance call 121.70, Blue Air 1431.
Should never forget to turn this. I actually turned it the wrong way. It was already set correctly, but it should be on 63 degrees.
Bucharest Toto Penny Intel ground, switching to 121.7.
It's a fairly short taxi with
1431.
Roger that. We have a short
Toto Penny Intel ground, with you, Blue Air 1431.
We have a short taxi. We will keep getting caught off by the ATC there.
Blue Air 1431, Roger, Bucharest Toto Penny Intel ground.
And as you can see in the distance, we are supposed to take off on 08 left. There seems to be a plane approaching very low, as if it's going to land on Unless we're going to the wrong runway, my mistake. Let's just taxi this way anyway.
Bucharest Toto Penny until ground. Request taxi clearance. Blue Air 1431.
Keep the map on the corner. So we are going to the correct one. The AI traffic's a bit confused again, but again can't fault flightgear really for having the free built-in flight planner. Something you would expect. Something you used to get on all flight simulators, but now apparently it's paid add-ons. Standard equipment, you would think. If stream health is excellent and everything's going well and you're enjoying this, thank you. Thank you for being here, and we are doing many more flights in the future. Predominantly Europe for now. We will expand to Asia at some point, most likely Hong Kong. I'm going to go ahead and depart at the end of the runway. Taxi to the end of the runway, sorry. And then we depart straight out. Use F11 is the autopilot. Okay, we only need 15 degrees of flaps. Can do a nice solid turn. TAROM livery, predominant livery of the main aircraft carrier of Romania. And of course, capital of Romania is Bucharest, which is where we are now. Some slight issues there with the nose steering. I think we may be skidding.
155, resume taxiing. Bucharest Toto Penny until ground. Bucharest Toto Penny until ground. Continuing taxi. Blue Air 155.
Amazing, amazing plane. Really brings back those memories of when you used to see these sort of things. I think most of us may have seen the old aircraft, but if you was born after 2010, for example, or even 2005, you probably haven't seen quite as many. Okay, let's go ahead and slap our brakes on and prepare for takeoff. So we want to make sure the heading is set. We want to make sure we have our lights set. So extend that up to extend 10 degrees on the wheel. I should really learn the key commands for it. Okay, that's as good. It's good to go. F11. I will figure this out. We may do this entirely hand flown. Okay, we advance the throttles. 10 degrees of steering, just спасибо. And добро пожаловать на my YouTube canal to any Russians here, or anyone who speaks Russian as well. Very welcome indeed. 160, 180, 220, 200, 220. Рубеж. Подъем. I hope that's what he's saying. And whoa, there's a plane coming towards us. Yes, the takeoff speed in this is relatively high. We were almost going 250 kilometers an hour. Gear up. Okay, we haven't activated the weather radar. I think we're probably alright for now. We're mostly VFR. Awesome. Let's just follow that departure route by going left. Appreciate Bucharest on the way out. It looks like most other places on this game because the scenery is not quite up to scratch. Okay, that means everything is good. We're safe to do our departing turn to the left, clear of traffic. We will be gliding not gliding, we'll be climbing quite high. We're going to be going up to 39,000 feet. So if you enjoy cruising at high altitude, you'll enjoy that. I haven't set the altimeter, I just set it to standard pressure, so we may have had to listen to the ATIS, so my mistake. I think the other issues with the screen is putting me off a bit. I'd say a lot. Okay, there's the map. Stay up there, courtesy of Grantham. Don't have a co-pilot yet. If you are looking to be a co-pilot, that might be something we could do in the future, on a future stream. That'd be very interesting. Especially if you want to do an old aircraft like this, the Tupolev or maybe the 777. I'm looking again in the 777 for X-Plane 12, so... But it's not the 300 extended range, it's just the 200. So if you have your experience with that, that might be worth it, or even the 737, which is an aircraft I'll be focusing on more in the future. Okay, we have our departing turn there. As I say, it's an overhead departure. We can retract the flips now actually. So we're going about 450 kilometers an hour. Remember the metric system is different here. They use, well, they don't use the metric system. They use kilometers an hour. In the UK we use miles per hour. They use meters and we use feet, etc, etc, and just admire these sort of beautiful looking clouds as we pass through the Niban departure. The plane is a little bit all over the place. Some turbulence. I think we might miss that, but let's just skip it anyway. Let's just turn to the next leg. The plane's going super fast today. I'm wondering if there's absolutely zero wind by the looks of it, and no turbulence. So yeah, we're absolutely flying today. We're almost at 12,000 feet already.
LX 1885 ready to start up. Row 263 ready to start up.
Yeah, amazing. Just amazing what they've done with the clouds on this and the weather system. And the flight plan as well. I'd say they're definitely the key standout points in flight gear. Don't worry, that's an overspeed. So what I'm going to do is reduce the throttles to about 90%, since we're already climbing relatively fast. Our cruise speed is probably going to be about 592 kilometers an hour, pushing the envelope. Tupolev 154B is one of the fastest aircraft ever made. We do need to change frequency. This mouse thing is a pain in the ass.
This is LX 1885, position apron 18, information Yankee, IFR to Zurich, request startup. Blue Air 3101, startup approved, Yankee correct, runway 26L, fly runway heading squawk 0705, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.70, Bucharest Toto Penny Intel ground control. Row 263, startup approved, Yankee correct, runway 26L, fly runway heading squawk 0537, for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.70, Bucharest Toto Penny Intel ground control.
Very strange name for that airport.
Startup approved, Yankee correct, runway
okay, that's kind of driving me mad.
Runway heading squawk 3160,
can we change frequency?
For pushback and taxi clearance call 121.70.
It seems to be working.
Bucharest Toto Penny Intel ground control. Bucharest Toto Penny Intel ground.
Many issues with this. I'm wondering if they've
runway 26L, fly runway heading squawk 0705 for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.70, Blue Air 3101.
And if they've gone back and ruined it a little bit, it just made it worse, so people get the new version. Although, to be fair, the new version is not that great, so...
Squawk 0537 for pushback and taxi clearance call 121.70, row 263. Bucharest Auto Penny until ground, startup
Can't change frequencies, I have no idea what's going on.
Fly runway heading squawk 3160 for pushback and taxi
It's kind of stupid, isn't it?
121.70 LX 1885. Bucharest Auto Penny until ground, switching to 121.70 Blue Air 3000.
Yeah, I suspect they've gone back and altered the game and made it borderline unplayable because they... I mean, sure, it's free, it's got a great flight planning, good weather system, but they can't...
121.70 LX 1885.
Like that radio thing, we're on the mouse thing, there's no explanation as to why that would stop. Okay, we need to go to 39,000. For some reason I've leveled off at 19. Let's go ahead and fly full speed. Well, that shows how easy it is to handle the aircraft. It has a very good balance system. It tends to sort of level off on its own. Okay, I'm going to step away from the flight deck. I will leave you to enjoy the flight, and I will step back in when we are a bit closer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the altitude now, so we don't get... it won't climb quite as fast, but it will make sure we won't get overthrown while we're away. Okay, thank you. Okay, I've just returned to the flight deck and found the aircraft slightly slow, so I've increased the thrust. I've also just checked for a solution to the mouse issue, and I don't know if this is a computer. This is certainly not a computer issue, because it displays on other games, it displays on Windows, absolutely no problem. So if you're having the same issues on this, maybe this will be useful. So I'm going to exit full screen. It said go on file and mouse configuration. Apparently, so I can't see anything here. Right mouse button could be used in two different ways. Press and hold, right mouse look around. So there's nothing there that would suggest removing it. No, so there's no reason why the screen should be less than full screen, or less than big. You know, it's quite small at the moment. The mouse issue, I have no idea. Okay, view. I can't see an option there for a mouse. Perhaps there's someone a bit more experienced from flightgear community, or just someone who knows what to do. I did notice another streamer last night who's got quite a lot of viewers and subscribers did have the same thing. I've not got my auto hide cursor on. If we switch back, again the screen isn't that big, but if we switch back to the full screen it just completely vanishes. And as I say, this fairly well known YouTuber last night I had the exact same problem. But if you're enjoying this, this is not really about the mouse issue, although it's certainly a bit of a kick in the the flight. Estimated time was only 1 hour, it's only a short one. As you can see, we're almost at Lima Uniform Kilo Kilo, which is Chișinău International Airport, Moldova. I've never been to Moldova, but this seems like a very good route to fly, and I suspect that you can actually catch a plane, train or bus from Bucharest to Chișinău as well in real life, so if you're looking to go there, worth looking into it from Bucharest. Remember, cruising altitude is 39,000 feet. Confirm that there. We are following the GPS heading. In the past, I have mentioned the inaccuracy of GPS. Sometimes it can be inaccurate, and when I tried to fly into Tokyo, not Tokyo, Hong Kong International Airport in China, which is a fantastic airport by the way, I landed with no problems, took off, and then I flew to another airport which had two overlapping runways. So as you can imagine, that was absolutely causing chaos on the PAPI system, on the ILS system. The aircraft was sort of juggled between these two airports, which were two runways which are overlapped but slightly off to one another. So yeah, you gotta be super careful with that. Something to be considerate of if you are flying in really bad weather, which I was, so you won't realise till the last minute. you could do a right click here on the map. You see there's a cyan blue line. That'll give us a very good accurate estimate of where we are. So there's apparently 82 nautical miles. We haven't even got to our cruising altitude. I think we're going to have to start to descend. So what I'm going to do is disable the altitude hold. I have no idea the controls, so this is, I might have to just give up on flight gear if it's going to do this, if it's not going to allow me to fly in full screen without the mouse. It's just not practical. This might be one of the last streams on flight gear, unless I can get the issue sorted in the meantime. Okay, we're banking slightly, we're going to start pushing down. Reduce our throttles all the way down to about 70%. We didn't quite get to 39,000 feet on our cruise altitude. And remember, if you want to learn how to fly a startup aircraft, I do offer those tutorials. The last one was in the 737 from Madrid to Barcelona. I have done a Tupolev 154B, which is the aircraft we're in today. I've done a startup tutorial on that and flights on that previously, including aircraft including 777 as well. If you want to see another plane which I have access to a Cessna, of course, the Beechcraft Baron, some Airbus, etc, etc. Happy to take requests on that. It might be practical now to do our navigation approach. I'm going to go ahead and choose runway 26 for a standard approach. Okay, I was a bit concerned then because we didn't have any indication of where we were landing. That's a little bit strange. It seems to go right to the runway before turning right onto approach 5, so we'll have to start turning before then. I'm going to do the entire thing manually when we get a bit closer. 59 nautical miles. I have gone through the calculations before to calculate the point of descent and the rate of descent. Both different calculations, but nonetheless you can do them if you're really interested in that sort of thing. Okay, we're descending quite rapidly now, 1,000 feet per minute. I'm going to idle the engines. I'm going to go ahead and just glide down. Just let the aircraft descend at its own pace. Obviously I don't want to pitch down into a dive, and we certainly don't want it to develop into an uncontrolled spin, because that would result in a crash. If you're enjoying this content and you want to see some more, the only way to let me know is to give me some feedback. You can either leave a comment down below, or perhaps you can join one of the live streams in the future and let me know. We've done Bucharest, we're going to Chișinău. Previously we were at Belgrade, I've been to Sofia, I've been around a few of the Balkans now, but I want to explore it some more. I just want to try and head up to some of the sort of Eastern European countries like Ukraine and Belarus. Maybe further up to Lithuania, etc, etc. Not necessarily in the Tupolev, but I think something like the 737 would be a good choice. 737 or 777. But the 777, despite me loving it so much and it being a fantastic aircraft, it's actually not really designed for that kind of flight. The one I use anyway, I use the 300 extended range mostly. If you want to fly that kind of flight, you might be better off using the 200. There's probably no need for extended range. The aircraft itself is capable of flying those distances, no issues. The 737-800, that is, not the max, just the standard 737-800. I believe it's the new generation version. You can fly for a couple of hours on full tanks. Still going down 1,000. We got quite close to the airport. I'm going to go ahead and disable the heading. Hey, that's cool. That's another good thing about flightgear. You always discover things. I didn't know about this. I've not just realised it, but you can use this sort of heads-up display. Sort of thing you might use in a military aircraft such as the F-16. Although, to be fair, some airliners do have this. It can drop down from the ceiling, a small sort of glass panel that can give you this viewpoint. I've never really liked them, but it's there if you need it. You can change it to red or turn it off. So you got green, red, or off. Okay, disable the heading. We're going to do this entirely manually. If you like that sort of stuff, don't have to worry about distance. We're going to start. Just push down a bit more and turn to the right. You want to make sure we're on approach 5. Nice steep descent. Our lights have been on the entire time for this short 1 hour flight. There's no bank, not really a bank indicator on this. You have to there is a mini bank indicator on the attitude indicator, but it's not the sort of thing you would expect, especially if it's on a modern airplane. Usually the modern instruments would have everything built one, you know, the attitude indicator, the turn coordinators, altitude, speed, etc. Okay, we're just over Moldova, Chișinău International Airport. Looking quite nice. I will fly back to Belgrade and Serbia. I quite like those places. They have fantastic airports. And of course fantastic people and buildings and history, like most European countries. Target height for approach 5 should be about maybe 6,000 feet. So I'm slightly high. We're going to start deploying flaps soon. Can deploy speed brakes now, but not fully, so I can do like that. Press K for speed brakes down or up to extend, and J retract, like so. So you can use that just to slow down slightly. Borderline overspeeding. Let's pull back slightly. Despite having our speed brakes extended, we're going way too fast. We need to be down to about 400 kilometers an hour. Probably 300 kilometers an hour at this point. Just let that speed drop. I'm going to add some flaps in to increase the drag. Don't worry about that, that's just because we haven't got a thrust. Increase the thrust. You see now that's slowing it down. Flaps are slowing it down quite a lot. At 20 nautical miles from that point. I love the physics on flightgear, they're very realistic. If you were to lower a notch of flaps on a real aircraft, it would, as it's just done, increase the drag significantly and reduce that speed. And I've played on flight simulators before where you've lowered flaps and it's not really had any effect, so it's always good to see that. Okay, we're at 6,000 feet, that's ideal. Gonna level off. Increase the thrust to maintain the altitude. Another notch of flaps. Just as our speed reduces below 400 kilometers an hour. Lowering the flaps will lower the stall speed, so the slower speed you are, if you don't have flaps you'll stall higher speed, but if you're going a lower speed, the more flaps will allow you to go that lower speed without stalling. See, if we didn't have flaps at this point, we'd be getting speed warnings telling us to go faster. There we go. There's that speed warning we're getting. Or maybe it's not talking about speed. We do need to extend the landing gear on final. We can do that in a moment. Probably once we hit that approach leg. So we don't want the speed dropping below the 3. The 3 is 300 kilometers an hour. Which is about, it's about the landing speed as well. I think 300 kilometers is about 160 miles an hour. It's quite fast for the aircraft. Go ahead and ascend now to 4,000 feet. Actually, we can make that 3,000 feet. Slightly distracted. The weather has picked up a little bit in terms of its visibility. It's got worse. So yeah, we're going to expect a bit of an overcast landing. I'd say this marginal VFR at the moment. We haven't got the weather radar on, but I suspect the weather radar would have told us we had this coming. Also, I did check the METAR, but it didn't really give anything interesting to the flight. There was no thunderstorms or that. Although, if you were in Nice the other night, there was certainly a lot of thunderstorms down there as well. Hello if you're from Nice in France, great to see you. On the approach leg now for a landing in Chișinău Airport International, Moldova. Probably one of the few places in Europe that gets visited, but I have to say one of the most, has very pretty parks and very nice buildings, and that isn't the only thing about it that's nice. Yeah, that's not the only thing about Moldova that's nice. There's many good things there. They have brilliant food, the people. There is things to do there, believe it or not. And it's still classed as a developed nation. Developing. ETA time till landing is about 2 minutes. Gonna go ahead and extend the landing gear. That's going to increase the drag, so you see the speed on the lower left, the scorest. We are maintaining a fairly steady descent, but you can see now the speed is decreasing. That's a very good descent, I have to say. The TAROM Tupolev 154B/2. Very pretty. Okay, I think someone just said Хорошо и право on that, and I think that means everything is alright. So we're all good for the approach. Let's keep pitch up ever so slightly. We don't want to be a little bit too low. I did say 3,000 feet, so let's try and hold off a little bit. 3,000 as we get onto the localizer. Nice steady turn there. I haven't tuned the frequency, so it's not lit up the cyan blue, but if you tune the frequency into navigation 1 radio, the ILS, it will light up cyan blue, but if you do some aircraft like the 777 will automatically tune to the correct runway for you. And that'll take a little bit of work out of it for you. You don't have to worry about tuning the radios that way. And keep an eye out for those puppy lights. Can't quite remember what they stand for. Something to do with precision approach. Or maybe something completely different. if you know what that means, I can't even bother to Google it at the moment. I can't stand it when people say, "Oh, just look it up online." It shows you how lazy they are. If you can remember it, or if you know what it is, and you want to see an ILS approach in this, then you can go back and watch some of my other live streams, because I've done a few with the ILS on this aircraft. Very easy to control. That is a well flown aircraft, and it has just started raining where I am now. Looks like a storm as we fly into Chișinău. We are heading towards two gigantic towers. I hope that isn't the runway. I hope we're not landing on a vertical runway. Yeah, some kind of tower in Chișinău. If you've been to Chișinău, let me know what that is. I'm gonna go full flaps. The runway's in sight. Yeah, we can go ahead and shut the map. And thank you for sitting through this flight with me. If you joined me today, I really appreciate it. It's been another good experience on the aircraft, but the game in terms of like the mouse and things, I'm a bit disappointed that some of this is happening, especially considering I've used it before with no issues. Yeah, it is an interesting plane. If you want to learn how to fly, you should go back to my previous live stream on the Tupolev, because I give a much better startup procedure to it. I did do it today, but the previous one was full screen and the mouse was visible. So I talk for that on the other videos as well. But generally, aircraft are, like, for me, this isn't particularly difficult. Yeah, sure, the startup process took a little, maybe a little bit of learning, but it didn't take too long. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start descending towards the runway. It is good to see you in chat as well. Join me for the Friday flight. We'll be going to either in the 777 or the 737. I'm going to activate the nose wheel now. That's quite dangerous. You don't want to do this before you land, but because I can't see it on full screen, I have to do it miniature. You see the speed drop below 300 kilometers an hour. That means we're extremely slow. We need to increase the thrust, although the descent rate is kind of compensating.
Высота 250.
Да, конечно.
Скорость 150 метров. 120 метров. 100 метров. Оценка 80 метров. 60 решение. 40 метров. 30.
40 meters.
20 метров.
20 meters.
10.
10.
6 метров. 3 метра.
Wow. That was absolute butter. Whew.
220. 200. 180. 160. Скорость 140.
Oh my. Well, if you're new to this, that was absolute butter, that landing. The entire approach was flown manually and the landing was manual as well. Not too much to say about that. That was really, really good. Okay, we're going to go ahead, and we usually taxi down. We will usually taxi down to the terminal, but I can see there's not really many here. I have to say that Chișinău Airport, though, it's very pretty with all the trees around it. It's looking really, really attractive in the spring. It was butter. It was. I really, really appreciate that comment. It's not very often that I get a butter landing if I've gone in at crosswind, but today we were pretty cool. We had no crosswind. That's been one of the smoothest flights in the Tupolev or in any aircraft I've ever done. I would definitely be flying back to Chișinău International in the future. I said it before, but for Всем привет to all the Russians or anyone, not even Russians, but just anyone who's from Moldova. I know they speak it over there, so welcome in. Our departure was from Chișinău, Lima Romeo Oscar Papa, which is Bucharest International Airport. I'll be doing another Balkan flight in the 737, I suspect. The Tupolev though is such an old aircraft. It has in fact been decommissioned now because it was too loud and it was banned from flying in Europe. It also had many accidents, so that was unfortunate. So yeah, we're gonna have to send it into maintenance after that flight and make sure it gets checked over. Not quite line maintenance, I think it's classed as base maintenance if it goes in the hangar. Likely having some landing gear checks and probably lubrications and hydraulics changing. Oh wow, wow, this is a surprise. As we skid across the taxiway, we come into contact with Chișinău Airport, which is looking really quite detailed, I have to say. I was not expecting this. I spoke way too early. There's loads of buildings. Oh, let's see what aircraft. I think there's another Tupolev here. Another Tupolev I can see. I can see some kind of warplane. Oh, thank goodness, we are home. We have found our family. This is amazing. Oh, we found our family, our fellow Tu-154Bs. Here we got a Siberian Air. All Tu-154Bs. We got one over there, Samara, Siberia. Some propeller turboprop plane there. It looks like a warplane. If you know what that is, tell me. I don't know what that is. Oh wow, impressive, very impressive. They've even got a fire station. Look at that. I'm gonna just drive right up to the terminal and this plane because I feel like we've been given a VIP welcome. Air France, we don't bother with Air France on this channel. Nothing against them. Bonjour to any French. But we're concerned about Chișinău's fire station and terminal. Look at that. Yeah, so we're actually in the Soviet Union territory right now. That's probably why there's so many Tupolevs. Okay, let's slap the brakes on. Let's do I'll leave the engines running. Wow. So if you've enjoyed that flight, I've enjoyed it, then please come along for Friday. And I said I might do a stream tonight, but I won't. I might just do a flight myself, but that's been a fantastic experience. I really appreciate anyone being here. It's good to see some new people as well, and I'll be back on Friday with you. Like I said, either the 737 or the 777, so yeah, take care.